Now, as we get started, though, guys, I know you guys have really taken in our FlyQuest and Cafe Rose icons. As we get started in the pick commands, even with the reset, we still see the Elsa booted out, stuck in jail.
There it is. We are here. Look at all these beautiful animated icons. I mean, already having the white box animated is absolutely insanity. The double Black Panther, I mean, I think that really speaks to, obviously, what the King of Wakanda is coming to. But with that, we have Elsa being banned both out front. That Vanguard tank pool is going to be protected on the side of FlyQuest. Both teams now going to make that a priority. Again, just such a staple anchor Vanguard to have. No Gambit being played on the ban side over to FlyQuest. And Daredevil's going to be their response. So with these new pick and bans, remember, these are one-sided towards the other team. And Vicky, this already makes things so interesting.
Yeah, almost trying to reflect the issues that we were talking about before, because I mean, if they get away with having the Gambit, as you can see right there, on the other side, FlyQuest now banning next, wondering what that's going to be, because then they'll be able to try to prioritize what that final safety pick is going to be too. But you talk about the state of the meta and how these teams specifically have been able to lean into their own strengths. I think all eyes right now are on FlyQuest to see where they stand among some of the greats in the terms of titles of a lot of these teams. They protect the Jeff, though, and that kind of already leads you to believe what the strat lineup is going to look like for FlyQuest.
Yeah, you already seen it right there where you have the ban on Gambit and the save on Gambit. So this is what we expected. We just talked about that with Zoe, right? I said, I think Pixel and their team, they got to play Gambit in the MRC, and they're probably going to do that and try to thrive on that dive here. So we're seeing their game plan around it, and the response to it, obviously not having Loki is one way around it. They've got the availability to play Star-Lord, which I think is, kind of a no-brainer a lot of the time. We'll see if they end up going that route. Pro Builder hovering on that Moon Knight. And down below, our first look at FlyQuest and what this team has got put together here. Kin, the Jeff is exactly what you want. Jolly, we've seen what he did on Venom back in the day. We continue to see it here. Vest showing a brand new look in the Deadpool, Vic.
I like this, man. I mean, I was really excited to see how Vest was going to go into this specific season. A very passionate player who is here to prove that he is a mainstay of FlyQuest and a different look of this roster. But also, it's the inclusion of our two European players that you were talking about that has made their way over into the Americas. And we all eyes to see how he's going to be able to do.
Melio is a player that I want to highlight because, going back to stage one on that winning team with Navi, he has what it takes. He has that championship DNA. Obviously wanted a bit better of a grand finals there in Atlanta, but the guy has a lot of talent. Plays Adam, plays great duelist as well, but we've got to see him in a new team with a new dream, and we kick off now, ready to roll, FlyQuest, going straight to the point.
He's got this started, though. Vez already moving forward, and another conversation point, even since the MRC Cozy, has been where is Nick right now? As we move all the way back, 10 being another of those additions within the team, but kind of a no other choice, right? Because you consider just a focus on these strategies. No Loki, no Jeff. You won't be able to get that double PC, but you try to get away here from the other side of Cafe Rose. They're just trying to force their way through this choke at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. We take a look here at Respect. Can't get this point up, so trying to do everything you can because, again, it's about 70-ish% at time. Chance to win the whole thing if you just cap first and the way that whole rotation happens. So it's a new 20% reduction in general that might change things. Now they're going to get the first taste of victory here as Jolly and Tuzi follow, and that's the opening FlyQuest was looking for in their quest to make a brand new name for themselves. Melio going to continue up top here using that great sense of Daredevil's kind of underrated part of his kit where you can tell everybody exactly where the enemy is going to be located. Right here, we're seeing it now, looking at what this Venom's doing.
Now you're figuring out why you're going to see a lot of people prioritize Daredevil as a ban. It's not just in your own respective games here. You get to see it here within the MRI. TC does have a reset available with that ultimate as well. The Ensong Inferno before backing away. Jolly taking a good amount of damage while Vest is taking a nap, though, from Pixel, who's set to put him to sleep before diving in. Look at this damage output, trying to follow up together off of Tusi, but I like the way they were able to back away. The only thing is, they've lost out on Pixel, and they only have Respect. The Pro Builder, as Respect, does get that invisible boundary. They're still down that one player. Oh, no.
Yeah, we saw Respect plenty of times when EMRC used this aggressively, so they might look to do that, but Melio does find himself an escape here as the lawyer. Gonna go ahead and grapple up here, continue to look at what they have. Nice little steal up here. Gonna go towards Lyric, see if he can get something rolling. Gets him down to half and continues to roll. Jolly now trying to find something as gonna see if he can continue to just get those key cooldowns down. As Venom sometimes, you don't always need the elimination. Just try to force the big cooldowns like the Cloak and Dagger bubble or whatever you might be targeting. Right now, there's 60%. FlyQuest looking dominant. Cafe Rose has to make something happen here.
And then AMER coming out here, though, and they've lost out on the Jet. This is going to be the opportunity for Cafe Rose to finally take the point. They have a number of advantages at the very moment, but Ken can make some plays coming right back forward, and they're going to allow Cafe Rose now to try to take the point as little by little. FlyQuest trying to stall for as long as possible, already nearing that 80% mark, but Cafe Rose, they do manage to flip the point.
Alrighty, so again, it's one thing flipping the point, it's another what do you have kind of in your available ult economy to make it last. Pro Builder having the res is definitely going to help them. You know, obviously I always like to say it's either, you know, born again and lose again, or born again and win again. And with Marvel Zombies, anything can happen here. Respect opening aggressively could be a tactic they take. Kin, though, watch out, this guy's got some crazy Jeff ult, and with this wide open Warrior Falls, we've seen it in the movies in Wakanda. It's giving him the perfect opportunity to throw him off here, as we're going to have the Devil let out by Melio. He's going to get things started as the Whale comes down as well, Vicky. We find ourselves with a quick trade, 5v5.
But losing out on both invisible wins is more beneficial for FlyQuest because, unfortunately, Cafe Rose won't have that invisible boundary, but you do have the passive available, and Melio's already locked into him. He's going to make sure he can't get that off, so that way you won't hear the Born Again ring out through your own ears, Cozy.
Yeah, with Kin getting exactly what I thought was going to happen. The quick, you know, taste of jaws, as we like to say, throwing them both off the map. Not even a chance to try to answer the call. They have two strategies ult to respond here. 85% though. This is kind of where it's tough, Vicky, because you have to try to tell yourself, all right, do we full commit, what you should, or do we try to save something for the next point because this one's too far gone? They still have plenty up their tanks though. And Jolly's going to go ahead and open up with the piece of the abyss. Try to get these health, and with that full open dive, that's exactly what we're talking about. But a good trade on Bets.
This, though, you have the anti, and you absolutely take that if you're FlyQuest. It's using to be able to find Lyric next, as overtime is ticking away in favor for FlyQuest right now. Currently, Cafe Rose are desperately trying to portal back in to at least stall and try to get a reset, because Pro Builder still has that rest. He unleashes it, and respecting no points, they're now coming back. I was wondering, are they within the vicinity? But they are able to get it through the portal, and that's actually so big, because through the window, they can actually come into recontest and come right back.
Yeah, just a sliver of overtime left, and still was able to maintain their point presence. And just like that, they cap it back with that res we just talked about. One of those 20% ult reduction ultimates, Vicky, that get so much more value because it's so much tougher to wipe right after. But Melio does not care. Again, this guy has pro championship DNA. Finds now 3 to get rid of more than half the team. And FlyQuest adjusts very quickly. Now with the stomp and the finish, this is going to be all they need for this first point. Warrior Fall's going to go to the hands of FlyQuest as time ticks down. And no binds can't even touch to contest.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time, right? I mean, you got that 3-minute cooldown basically with the Strange Portal. You've already utilized that. You've tried to throw everything in the basket, and you walk away with FlyQuest taking that first round. But Cafe Rose, I like the recontentions that we saw there. Remember, this is a team that had to make some adjustments kind of last minute.
Come on. I just want to say this, guys. Cafe Rose, okay, have 2 new players on their team. On top of that, they had a tough time in the MRC towards the end of it, right? And so you're seeing this team that, if you look at how these teams rank up, had what I would say probably one of the toughest ways in pass. Not only that, they open up against someone like FlyQuest. And for them to even put the fight up they just did, I would definitely give them, you know, a quick tip of the cap. But either way, that is not going to get you a W. You got to bring it all together here. FlyQuest getting that first point, Vic. And on top of that, they've got Kin, they have Zelos to open up this first fight. Looking on the other side, no strategist ult to the name. Yes, they have the Phoenix. They've got the Insong Inferno. Not going to be enough, though, to make the difference between those 2 strategist ults. So FlyQuest looking very ready to take point 1 right back.
It looks like they've been trying to force out so many staggers onto the triple strategists that we're seeing from Cafe Rose. It's pretty difficult if you're a respected Pixel, even when Pixel's forced to burn a sleep onto a lingering Jolly Venom, and it's not available to deal with Melio, who's been a problem. Melio with the communication, you're talking about that Daredevil passive, noting exactly where the positioning of Cafe Rose is before they try to dive down from the top. Can't be so sneaky when you have to deal with Daredevil on this side. And he opens up, letting the Devil out here. He dives right on top of Cafe Rose, and Respect gets jumped. There goes the triple strategist, and you do not have Born Again, so you won't be able to get your strategist back into this fight.
Letting the Devil unleashing hell all by himself, and that's just great ult tracking. They knew that they had nothing to respond to that, Vicky, right? And man, all these selfie cams just gonna always get me here with Deadpool continuing to break that 4th wall. But yeah, Melio, this is already someone that I had, again, I kind of bold and underlined, got to see him so much in EMEA, meet him at, you know, LAN. What a great kid, but excited to see what he has here in America. Having a great opening statement for preseason, y'all, as every ult and Q is ready for FlyQuest. Cafe Rose does have the response to respect here momentarily, Vicky. You can see if they can ride off that momentum with the aggressive right away.
immediately, right? But is there going to be a follow-up is the question. Respect, I like it. He's going to be able to hold on to that invisible boundary, not going to get baited, so Jolly just end up just holding them back for now. FlyQuest just trying to stay grounded before diving right in. Pixel's going to be able to answer right back, though, with that Mantis ultimate, the Soul Resurgence before the Jeff waited for it. Gets the Mantis together to try to focus out on the Jeff together, too, but then they get Dolphin on, and it's both supports that are getting caught out by Cafe Rose. But with a double jump, Respect comes right back around with the invisible boundary.
These new EMEA player additions are standing out in Melio. Now Kin saying, hey, I can play in the American scene quite easily as he throws two stretches right off. Melio and Jolly get the exclamation point with a little bit of a trade to match, but either way, they do get the point, all right? They get the point a little bit as they were maybe playing. Kin was playing with his food a little bit too long there, Vicky, but still able to put up a fight. And stall is going to be Cafe Rose. He's got the Seize the Abyss to continue on that everlasting health pool, the Born Again and Pro Builder. Now this allows them to get a little bit of a chance.
Wondering here, though, at least Cafe Rose's side, not even going to try to run out with the Gambit, right? They're just still sticking to this Adam, Invis, and Mantis here instead. Before backing away, at least being able to put the point back in their favor. FlyQuest looking to re-engage, but talking about Ken, he's the one that's closest to that Predator's ultimate instead, while Jolly could try to follow up together with Melio once they get those ultimates too.
It's kind of crazy. He had such good value on it last time. I'm able to capitalize on top of it. It doesn't matter because Melio is just going to continue and just show why those nerfs weren't as big as you might think. Daredevil mains because he is back and ready for the action. He takes down one, followed by now no binds. That's the big kick on the sustain. Obviously that Venom able to keep things their way so long. But hey, you know what? This time they at least got the point back, Vicky, a little quicker. So now they're matched up to him a little tighter, and if they win this next fight with not as much ultimate, more neutral play, they might be able to snag this point.
Really, they are just playing that neutral, right? They were able to brute force their way in without having to expend anything as they didn't have much online beforehand, and now they're already nearing that 75% mark. As they let the Devil out, they could dive right back around. Jolly could go in for the follow-up with a piece of the Abyss as Melio finds Respect first. Pixel's literally one-shot, manages to stay alive for now. Chenji's doing his best with the Namor Squid to try to back them away. Nobody swaps over to the Hulk, but even that's going to be able to back away. Jolly gets stunned right there too before backing two, but not trying to expend too much. Cafe Rose can't even go through this choke.
Yeah, I would have liked the rotation out there for Melio. Can punish you against other teams, but either way, they're going to have to find some answer to the Devil, whether that's going to be banning him in general, but they don't have an answer to the ult coming out from it. There's going to be the Strange Portal, though, from Pro Builder as they're going to try to body block. Do find their way in there a little bit, and they have the whale, so look out. The Horn of Brody is going to be summoned, seeing if he can land the biggest one of their first starting career. And there it is, Kin going down, so they get one, Vicky. This is the start of the snowball.
And they knew exactly that the Jeff was going to ult on top of the Mantis. I love the fuel that came out from afterwards, but is it going to be enough if you find Zelos next? That's Jolly. They find both of the strats. No binds, he's got his passive, but he doesn't have the Karmic Resurrection here. So now you have FlyQuest still and the number advantage. Pro Builder already used up that portal before, but they still were able to at least hold back FlyQuest.
I like this. This is actually huge for them. I mean, not great they're getting down right away, but either way, they have plenty of ults to use. And Zanji, being that replacement of the duelist that we talked about, is really stepping into the shoes. Kin goes down here, Lyric finds a big kick, and that's going to go in and open up the doorway. Respect goes, Pro Builder finds another. Hold on, folks. We might have ourselves a 1-to-1 if Cafe Rose can hold on. They continue to dump a good amount of ults. Pro Builder having the Yagamoto ready, Vicky. No binds, getting close. If no binds can survive this next fight and give him that resurrection, it very well might tie up this map.
And this is the reason why Cafe Rose banned Gambit specifically against FlyQuest. Ken being stuck on the Jeff and being the first one isolated as Cafe Rose are nearing 95. FlyQuest looking to see if they can recontest with Jolly being on the Venom, but they have to touch right now as they force it with Jolly in that backside. Genji just call him out. Great, getting some great follows with these Namor Squids too, as well as the Trident. And Lyric finds Vez. That's one out. I have a Komodo for Pro Builder. Is there going to be a follow-up here? As they get two, they get three, and it looks like Cafe Rose with that number advantage. As we see FlyQuest, they still have a portal. That's another thing. They could recontest with this portal, but with overtime ticking down and nobody on the points, Cafe Rose dealt too much, and they take that second round, Cozy.
What? I mean, Vicky, my gosh, let's just all take a quick breath of fresh air and say, welcome to the America scene. 1-1. I don't think anyone had that on this first map written down on their board. I certainly didn't, but we just said it going in. If they can win that point back with a little bit of neutral or not committing too much, then they can maybe take the map ultimately. And for me, I just felt like FlyQuest kind of let their foot off the pedal a little bit there towards the end. try to have to tighten things up again. This is a team full of talent. We haven't doubted that, but in this dive meta, really have to be playing as one. Looking at what they have, though, Vic, Cafe Rose, I almost don't, I don't know more. I did not like the res there at the end for Bro Billy. Don't think they needed it. Would have been great to have it in this first fight here. So now they're going to have to go up against what is a bit tougher of an old economy going in FlyQuest's way, with Melio certain to open up with the devil.
And I'm also curious too, Cody, because it's important, if Vez ended up coming out of the spawn room gates and had committed to a portal, because if he did after swapping out, they won't really have that for 3 minutes. They probably won't until the very end there, but we do see some teams sometimes try to make plays like that so they can get an advantageous point over on the high ground of this specific round. And as you mentioned too, not really ultimates online for them to work with, while FlyQuest do have some, but I feel like those ultimates were very staggered in that second to last fight especially.
No, for sure. I've not seen them either have just an answer to Melio's ult, so we'll see where he takes his rotation. Jolly might rotate in. He's going to go into it right away. Again, there has not been a stop to it. Now they're having a great rotate back. You're going to have the Soul spawn to keep them alive through it, but there goes Vespa. Vest, we know what he can do for that FlyQuest team. One of the main staples coming back to be the anchor for the team. Respect pulling in there, going right away for the other invis, but Zelos getting the best of that multiversal clash.
Gonna have to be a reset here for Cafe Rose, right? Respect knowing that, just toss themselves right there onto the point. There was no stalling, considering that FlyQuest already had that point, as Jolly using a Feast of the Abyss on Ghost, it looks like here, and Cafe Rose are just able to try to walk over from this right side of the choke.
Yeah, for sure. Lyric, hey, listen, they were able to get this point back pretty quickly last time, and that really helped them set up for success when they gave it 80% of that kind of gift. That was where they ended up losing. Pro Billy going to go fly up there with that new hover that you do get with the Soul Bond. He's going to get the pick on Jolly. Oh, that's one for the Golden God. Even not in the new life Living Side Dealer costume, but still able to get done to face skin with the Invis boundary coming up. Zanji playing Zelos, and this is exactly the trade you want. They have everyone they need. Best going to go in and get the evened odds a bit on the Deadpool. But just like that, Cafe Rose should be able to retake this if they can get the pesky last hits out. But here we go, Jolly committing already to the portal.
And can we talk about Shanji, by the way, being a huge highlight player for me, at least from Cafe Rose. The Simor is popping off. They found their grounding. They made sure that Melio is not the same threat that we saw in that first round. Zelos commits the invisible boundary, though. Cafe Rose, Respect still staying alive. Pro Builder is very close to having that karmic revival. All eyes on Pro Builder. If he's got that passive, he has it online now. Sandy's out of this fight, and with Pixel going out, you hear the Born Again rise again. He brings them both back together. Lyric will come right back around too, and it's gonna be another recontention here with no bites getting close to the Eye of Agamotto.
Yeah, with FlyQuest though able to keep on this point and stay the stall, this is going to be very tough now for Cafe Rose. They really need to have that take on the last hit there. That could be the swan song for this first map. Either way, the Agamotto comes out. It's going to pay the ultimate price. Jolly going to go in and get the whip on Bind, taking him down quick with the melee. Here comes Respect, forcing out a backup pin on the other side, just pressuring from both angles. Jolly gets Respect out of here, and one by one they fall. Cafe Rose, 99% overtime ticking. FlyQuest ready to go ahead and start this new era in year 2 where they left off year 1, dominant in America. And here we go, Vicky. It's looking like it.
You bong on Pro Builder's forehead there with the end song Inferno. I'm here wondering, the backline of FlyQuest, they're in some trouble, but the split attention and the communication can still stay alive. He's got his ultimate available here, and with everybody stuck inside the invisible boundary, he activates the trigger. The It's Jeff Lyric going wild, by the way, here too. Clicking even more heads onto FlyQuest, and Melio does have the Daredevil ultimate too. May want to try to see if he has an opportunity to follow up with Jolly on getting an anti there. And Shanji, he spears the Jeff and makes some sushi, as FlyQuest now are down a player.
Not the Shark stagger. Yeah, I mean, looking at what they have, again, this is... they're in a worse position, but they're in kind of the same field as they were last time. If they don't commit too much, Zanji, keep your eyes on him with the whale. What can they get pick-wise? Can they get a strategist out early? Or will Melio just go completely on Respect like last time and really shut down the dream for the first map win? Melio going to go ahead and rotate to the right. We can see him there behind on the balcony, it looks like. Going to find good rotation though from the team. Staying close together. Pro Builder at 80% picky. That's how they got it last time. Can he stay up and get that resurrection? Once again, Zanji gets the pick on 10. That's what we're looking for.
And he needed some ammo. Sanji dropping the wheel. You talked about it before, Cozy, and a problem splitting the attention of FlyQuest. That shuts down the win condition, right? Melio needed Jolly's help to go in after letting the devil out. And as they fall and their plan falls apart, now Cafe Rose, they win another team fight. And look at the ultimates that will be online for that next fight.
Just going to say exactly what they needed, right? Because Pro Builder now has the res, and it doesn't matter what happens, the passive on board as well. Respect should be able to rotate into it. No blind can hit a huge Agamotto. This is legit how they just won map number 2 of this second point. I mean, as they're going to go in early. Here's Beck, who's done so much for FlyQuest on this map so far. Jolly going to go with the PC of this as well. They do find respect early, going to slow down that ult charge. But the Born again, ready again, Pro Builder brings her right back to the fight. Pixel getting a Melio out of here, 87%. The portals are going to be right 8% close to the cooldown on the side of FlyQuest as well.
But Pro Builder did what he had to do. He used the Karma Revival. He stayed alive just long enough. And by the way, hadn't used his passive right before, he gets a beautiful snipe on Cazello's overtime, taking away Cafe Rose. They've tied this up. Lyric isolating Ken. This position has FlyQuest scattered. Very messy from the backline. You come in with the Eye of Agamotto, and now FlyQuest, they're down 3 members. It's just a matter of time before Cafe Rose, they clear the points. They're looking to clear the round. And the Staggers, they have done it with a celebration on the Horn of Proteus. They call it in with the dub.
Welcome to Ignite Year 2. I'm telling you, Group of Death, favorite team, underdog, does not matter. That's exactly what we're looking for from the fight. All you need is someone to point to the side and say, I believe. And this team did it just now. And not only just that, the MVP, Zanji, coming in here, filling in the shoes to help Cafe Rose rise right now above FlyQuest in this first map.
Dude, he did everything he had to do. 18 final hits, Cozy. Sanji, yes, it was a little bit of a rough start. They were expecting the Daredevil originally too. That's why they opened up with the Namor. But these follow-ups that we have from Sanji were just a lot better than what we had originally witnessed between the Daredevil from FlyQuest and then the follow-up with Jolly.
Yeah, I've got to say, I mean, you can tell. I mean, look at the stats. Talent-wise, it's like FlyQuest, we see you. Vest, you're disgusting. I mean, it's crazy. Melio, 19, 18. But it doesn't matter. This was what I was trying to point out in the pre-show. I was talking about the dive comp. You can have all the talent in the world. Got to play as one unit. And, I mean, sometimes it's a game of inches. You know, you can say that in sports all the time. This truly was. Cooldowns were coming off by mere seconds to decide some of this. And it came down to that last push of Melio trying to go in, get that backline early. But the trade that Zanji was able to do with the whale, landing down the horn, that's how you want to get this started for these brand new orgs.
And helping out PO right for that backline to allow them to really pop off, because we did see that even with the triple strategist backline that we have from Cafe Rose, that they were getting harassed, they were getting picked apart. It was forcing out a lot of staggers that we mentioned in that second round. But Cozy, Pro Builder did what he had to do. You see an Adam, what do you expect? You have to lean into the win condition of the Karmic Revival. And in that first round, they just did not let him. And Melio prevented him from trying to get a lot of those resets.
I mean, for me, what's crazy is you have Tree and Sticky, I believe, that got, ultimately replaced on this team to things out of their control. And to have that Zoe, I mean, wow, what an opening. These players stepping in, stepping into the spotlight, but also into the shoes of these other players.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess you can say that there's not much pressure if you're the underdog in a series, right? I think all the pressure is on the opposition here. People expect FlyQuest to make a very dominant statement in this opening match against Cafe Rose. They are the heavy favorites heading into this one. The new pieces for Cafe Rose worked out so well. Also, really big credits to the pick and ban phase there. I think they've done their homework there. They managed to move some pieces here and there to kind of force the hand. Seeing Ken stuck on that jet, for example, I think that really worked in their favor. Overall, I'm extremely impressed with what we've seen from Cafe Rose, and I have to pose the question, is this just FlyQuest trying to shake off the, I don't know, the off-season rust? Where did it go wrong? Because it felt a little sloppy at times.
Vicky, if I may, I mean, for me, a couple of things to point out. I mean, first of all, this is the team coming in third, right? So they were in third in the MRC. They're playing against FlyQuest. I, for one, had FlyQuest, a team that I said could easily be the sleeper of this whole thing, but also I had them ranked, I believe, 5th in my predictions, because I need to see them play together. I need to see this team of all these talented players play as one. And that is one I felt like slipped out of their hands that they felt confident in. But also, you're right. I mean, this team, Vic, we just casted them in Cafe Rose. They're kind of hot. They come in from, playing a good amount as a unit, even with these 2 new additions, and that obviously aided them here.
And they answered it for me too, because when I get to see that they had protected the gambit, it's like we don't see that rolling out, and now I understand why, right? Because they knew that the dive was going to come. They had the Mantis for the stun. They had reset opportunities with the Adam Warlock. I think if you look at FlyQuest and you're wondering what's going on here, aside from, again, the unfortunate circumstance of this is what happens when you don't get to play out of LAN, right? But, having some players on ping, bringing in these new players too, and trying to find that synergy, there could be a little bit of miscommunication going on here. And I think it also trickles down as a main bold factor to the staggering of these ultimates and not being able to get these follow-ups that they're looking for to allow them to have that win condition. And it's Melio Go will enable him, and unfortunately we just didn't see that happen.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Melio. I know, Cozy, you had your eyes on that player, and we know what he can do with that Daredevil. What do you expect to see in our second map?
Yeah, for me, I mean, first of all, domination, when you have Adam Warlock involved and it's not on one team, the other has it in their strategy, you would just have to play perfect, right? We saw that. Like, they would win and it didn't matter. They would get the pick and it didn't matter. So I think a little bit of that was not just pick and ban phase where a lot of this is said and done, but also just the strategy going in. Melio is going to be a problem for them. I think Daredevil probably will be addressed on this next pick and ban phase, Zoe, if I were to guess. But I need to see now all tied together in what team comps they're putting together, because we have seen them play individually well, but there's so many different comps that you can line up, especially in domination. But where teams get favored a bit more is out of that game mode, when it's not so much of a skirmish and there's more of that organized play.
Given the players on that FlyQuest roster, because obviously losing the first map means that they now get to pick the second one. Which mode do you think they're going to take us to? Which map do you feel like actually would favor their style?
Well, now you have Convoy and Convergence up, though, Cozy. I mean, I wanted to see your opinion here, but I'm thinking maybe FlyQuest want to try to lean into, like, a Convoy map.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, since it's a whole new team, it's going to be a lot different, right? But I bet if I were to guess, a lot of teams like to reset in Yggdrasil. We like to go there a lot. Sometimes they'll end up going to Midtown as well. Those are the 2 I would expect. I don't think we're going to go, right back to anything too out of their comfort zone. With Citadel back, I do remember them being a big Yggdrasil team as well, so that's where I would expect this to go most likely. But again, these teams have full different strategies, and the coaching is just so important, Zoe, at this level, right? Like, what is Cafe Rose's weakness when it comes to some of their map choices? They have the homework they can do from just a couple weeks ago. So whoever's helping FlyQuest out here, they can look at that MRC to identify some weakness.
Well, let's hear it. Coach Cozy, Coach Vicky, what do you think? Have you actually been able to look at Cafe Rose or at FlyQuest and really see some very obvious things that need to be cleaned up in map 2?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the number one issue there is figuring out, okay, like Cozy stated, domination's a very crazy toss-up on who manages to get that point first, which is why it's so important, which is also a highlight towards their reset opportunities. I think for a team like Cafe Rose, who had to make adjustments within the last, week and a half to 2 weeks now at this point, they've already found their grounding, and they've already shown that they've been able to adapt around the pick and ban phase that is very unique to the MRI compared to what you experienced back at home from your own ranked games and in the MRC when we had broadcasted that just the other week. So I think being able, if you're FlyQuest, looking at that pick and ban phase, if you're gonna protect and use a protect, we are going to Racco. You talk about some Convoy. You take a look at the pick and ban phase and you see that you want to enable your Daredevil, well, then you got to go follow up with your Daredevil. And it doesn't seem like that was a problem, obviously, for the last 2 rounds for Cafe Rose. So they may stay just not banning it, especially since we are going over to Convoy.
Yeah, for me, listen, let's go and look at what I said. I think Jolly early on, I need to see how Jolly can kind of work with Melio more on this next bit of map. And it's really just down the fundamentals of I need to see more strategy involved. It kind of felt like 6 very talented players going out there and having a good time. It's like we got to see now where some of the homework has come in here behind the scenes. We saw Kin and Alex together on Citadel Gaming and EMEA scene. Kin is a phenomenal strategist. We saw him with some big plays, but then the follow-up didn't happen after those big plays. So for me, it's just the teamwork. I don't expect them to lose this next one, but again, after that first one, it can happen.
Yeah, I mean, this is best of 3, right? So the first to 2 wins the series. It will be quite rough for FlyQuest to start the group stage off going down against, and that might be playing in their heads right now, the perceived bottom team of their group.
Yeah, I mean, listen, because that's what we were trying to highlight, right? It's not just that it was a underdog fight, right? We have those all the time in sports. It was a truly, I mean, if you were to, in sports sense, it's like a college team going against NFL. I mean, that's the best way I can say, right? The pro football team. So when you have this up against the wall with only a best of 3, there's not a lot of time to adjust. Guys, you have to get on it right now, Zoe, and we find ourselves 0-1 with FlyQuest down a game if you're just now coming in.
Ooh, let's get this going here. Game number 2 now in our first series. It's well, Zoe highlighted, Cozy, because can you imagine like just the level of upset you have here with FlyQuest? Again, may not have been on top of most of everyone's like rankings, but this was just not a look that we were expecting of Cafe Rose to make the adjustments that they have. Again, just so quick already with Elsa being off the table.
Vic, remember going back to stage 1, FlyQuest lost to, I believe, Ego Death. And then they were called Side Quest. And it kind of like kicked off a little bit of an era of this like revenge tour that they had. So like, it's kind of funny enough in the rival scene, they've been here before in a way, right? But also, this is such a new era for them. And so we'll see how they lock in. Arako obviously was not on my board that I thought they would pick, but here we find it. And to address any changes in the pick and ban, there's really not that many, right? I mean, the only big change that you see here is we're going to go with the lock now on the Adam Warlock. And the ban on the other side, I mean, did they just get Gambit out of here? Because they saved it last time, but they didn't even use it.
Yeah, because now this is also tricky for FlyQuest because, sure, Cafe Rose may have saved the Gambit, but the fact that they didn't use it, FlyQuest know, okay, well, they had a Gambit available. If they're not going to use the Gambit, let's get the Jeff out of here instead because we know that they're going to want to run triple strategists as well. So now over Protect onto one of the dive characters I'm expecting here from FlyQuest. It's going to be the side lock to try to get the Wombo combo going. But Cafe Rose are going to be able to stay strong, though, on this triple strategist lineup. They said it worked before. We're going to do it again.
Absolutely here as they're going to be locking in the last ban. And I think this is Daredevil. I think this is the wise move. That was kind of the one Achilles heel that they did have when it did come to Melio. Melio's hero pool is absolutely massive, though, so would not be surprised if they can do adjust to this pretty quickly here. Psylocke on the save, though, does tell the tale that Tuzi is a phenomenal player. So this guy, sometimes you have your best players saying, all right, I'm locking in. I'm going Psylocke. If you don't know what the changes to Psylocke, tremendous buffs in the neutral. Having your cooldowns activate those abilities that much quicker. Her burst potential that much more. Not feeding off the Vanguards just for the ultimate now. This will help them a bit in what they want to design for. Especially on Arako, Vicky, where there's plenty of pathways to make the job happen.
Right, but I'm mostly worried too, like, what is going to be this backline looking like? You want to be able to get those damage boosts in if you're Pixel as well onto Nobites and Sanji. You want to enable Sanji, who was that very critical player for Cafe Rose to refine that foundation that they needed to build back that momentum into that second fight of round number 2 of our first map. But a different look now, Cozy, as we get started. FlyQuest starting things off on the attack. It seems like we can't ever escape Clintar in the good old and new here, Cozy. It's back to the tradition that we have seen with our matches.
Arako. I mean, we don't get a lot of Arako, right? I mean, it's crazy. I mean, first of all, obviously we have the great music leading into it, but yeah, having to go in and escort Krakoa is not something we see too much here at the high level, and teams tend to try to avoid it, but no, FlyQuest choosing to embrace what could be a new change here. And right away, you see the setup that they're going on the defensive side. Zanji going to stay on that Namor makes plenty of sense to me. Pro Builder, again, is going to have to be a big focus. Wow, the Squids already have the water against fire. We know that weakness exists going all the way back to 1996. It's still here in Rivals.
You would think, though, like after we saw how strong the No More followers were, that maybe FlyQuest, they were learning over that Jeff ban. Could it have been the Namor instead to try to stop enabling Sanji here? And now you get the follow-up together with Jolly, who's already forced to pop the armor, by the way. But look how quickly that Van Pool is able to build up that ultimate, holding on pretty strong right now. Pro the Builder still lingering in the back. But for Juicy being on the Psylocke, is just able to kind of farm out more of that pressure onto Nobites.
Yeah, let's see what Juicy is going to play here. Showing a good example of, you know, playing side with the team. A lot of people like to go pure dive, but definitely could just go ahead and help out on that quick execution combos with the Vanguards. They're going behind him and showing why he's such a threat in the Deadpool position. When you put on this ult on a back strategist, it's so tough because your other strategists have to keep them up. If they miss, they will end up eliminated. Melio going to find the quick explosion to Pro Builder. That's going to be a nice hit. Saw Pro Builder not get my favorite reses out from his passive. He's going to use it now, though, to go and back up at the team. This one makes a bit more sense with everyone alive.
Yeah, right, because you usually see them use it before, and then they're able to ult, but he's been holding on to it for quite some time already. He had to use that up this time around. And again, Melio being here on this Phoenix, when you don't see Elsa on the table, and a map like this, a lot more longer pipeline before diving into the top, holding on to that invisible boundary, stopping any sort of push from 2C, making the Dance of the Butterflies literally inaccurate.
Pro Builder with a hit. Well, that was absolutely clutch here now as Respect going to be hidden. We'll go ahead and see what they can find out. And this is exactly what we wanted to see. Kin getting those huge environmental eliminations on the Shard. We know what he can do in the strategic position, and this is going to help their aid push in a pretty tough choke point here. The res now for the rest of the team. This is exactly what happened. We highlighted this, Vicky. We would get the pick from Kin, and then Pro Builder brought them back. It's just finding the right target at the right time.
And he did it in such a great way, right? The repositioning so that way he can bring back his team. 2C comes in with the KO, finding Pro Builder. No passes there as well, but at least Pixel will hold on to the ultimate, waiting for it. The anti comes out from Jolly. Is there going to be a follow-up, though? No. They get to be close together with Pixel, who has that Soul Resurgence. Lyric follows up right afterwards. And Cozy, it's happening right now. Cafe Rose, they have just been forcing FlyQuest to play so split up. It's basically stopping any sort of dive follow-up that they want to go for.
Absolutely. Now, as we continue to find what they can do on this defensive approach, only 1 minute and 7 seconds is not a lot of time to make up the difference. They committed so much on that last push. Akushi can be closer to the Dance of the Butterflies to get something opened up. There's the neutral pick on No Bind. He's going to come back for another push, but at least gives them a little space to push it forward. Oh boy, Juicy's going to be in a tough position. He does get killed up right away. Going to try to go for the execution here. Does find himself a low Lyric. Can he get the exclamation? Yes, Melio finds the ending of that. And here comes No Bind right back into it as a Venom. They're going to have to win this fight perfectly, and it's not going to start out well with 2 going down, Vicky.
Susie doing the rest, trying to go in with the Dance of the Butterflies here. FlyQuest have lost out on 2, and Cafe Rose are trying to at least recontest here as Lyric coming into the spawn room gates finds a quick little heady onto 2C. The Jeff is going to be able to just float away from Ken. He will have the H-Jeff soon because you're down to less than 20 seconds on the clock for FlyQuest to try to recontest.
Fly, the mental, you got to pull it all together here. Kin does have a huge opening. He's gotten 2 in the past. They've got to follow up on this perfect. Find Respect or Zanji. Pro Builder's still pretty far away from the res, so this is your opening. 5-6 seconds left. They're about to go and dive and touch. Gonna go ahead and have Jolly probably leave that first hit in. There it goes, and everybody's collapsing. No Bind, so does find Tuesday. That's gonna be a big opening for them. My gosh, Cafe Rose showing why they deserve to be on the biggest stage of Marvel Rivals. 1, 2 down. It's overtime ticking. The hold is done. Cafe Rose, what is happening?
I hope you're hungry, Cozy, because Cafe Rose just stops FlyQuest from getting to that first checkpoint. Stop them entirely from being able to get anything done with what? Psylocke Protect? I mean, unfortunately for Tuesday, I'm sorry, we got to talk about it, but that Psylocke was not working out. Maybe you'll get like 1 or 2 raw picks here, but the strategist line from Cafe Rose were getting protected so well, not only from Shanji. Pixel was very accurate with putting them to sleep as well as Lyric. He said, what are you waving at? He was waving at nothing until he came back from the spawn room gates, and then you see 2 members of FlyQuest just coming around the back end in front of him, and then he could get another 4 stagger.
Predictions are in shambles over here as we find ourselves at the brink of a 2-0, but not in the team you might think it would be. And again, I'm watching what I could only call like Doom match right now from FlyQuest. It's like you have all this talent. They're all doing their own thing, but not as one cohesive unit, and especially in this meta, it is so important. Cafe Rose just playing calm, cool, collected. They're not identifying the threats that need to go first, and it is happening each and every single match here in or fight as they continue to go on. FlyQuest would have to have a legendary Helm's Deep worth of a defense, where this is going to end quick.
Starts in 5, 4, 3.
This is a really tough situation to be in. Hailing Fear from FlyQuest now being on the defense. See if anything changes, because a big focus has got to be on Sanji. You got to prevent Pro Builder from being able to get set up here, especially when you're calling out when he's using these passes. He's been mixing it up here. Pix already taking a good chunk of that damage, but so is Delos as he's the first one out. What? Yes, they put no binds to sleep, but it's already too late, too. So you had made that swap over to Namor to try to at least match that with Sanji. They get the trade up, and that's what they needed from Vest.
Vest needed to at least even though Vest has been on this FlyQuest roster. He is the anchor, in my opinion, of this team. He does at least slow down a little bit. No bind just getting these massive picks. I gotta say, just highlighting one player, no bind getting these huge picks early. And again, we saw this from Cafe Rose in the MRT, but obviously a much different scene against this competition. Lyric though and Zanji find both strategists. Good night. Go to bed. FlyQuest making them the side quest. They continue up Main Street, Vicky.
There's no way. Oh, they're side questing all the way back to the spawn room gates here. FlyQuest, nobody in sight. And Vest can't swap. He has the ultimate. So, I mean, somebody needs to try to recontest if they want to burn a portal, but they're looking to see if they can get out of this choke right now. Cafe Rose are looking to get set up.
No fly zone is what they're setting up in every which way. Pixel,
oh no,
Jolly, and that is it, folks. My goodness, can you believe your eyes? The team that most of us had as the team that would have the most ahead of them, the biggest challenge to climb, not only just the mountain, but the Mount Everest, easily conquer that mountain, taking down FlyQuest 2-0.
Cozy, get ready. Because they did it, and Shenji is your MVP. This Namor was popping off. I mean, he'll definitely be able to do it in style in the future with that new skin, by the way, as you get to take a look at 13. Oh, he did not go down a single time. With 6 final hits, I mean, it comes to show you, like, you look on the other side, what's the problem here for FlyQuest? Well, they couldn't get these raw picks, right? Like, they were constantly getting shut down. Talking about 2C specifically, who was on the side lock. They burned a Protect on the side lock for them to not being able to even use it.
For me, this is the biggest opening. I think this is the storyline here. With Tree out and Sticky out, these are two players that play Spider-Man, Elsa. They're playing different comps altogether. Where the heck has Zanji been? Because they found this pickup, and I think a lot of us assumed that when they picked up 2 new players, you downgrade, right? Like, typically that happens. You've been playing with this team for so long, and you have to quickly fill. And that's why we all had them ranked where they were at. But not only that, let me paint this picture to all of you that are watching. Again, the Marvel Rival Championship Season 6 just happened. Cafe Rose lost to Lunex 3-1. Lunex lost to Yeah We Lost 4-0 in the quickest sweep we've ever seen. And so it put us with the expectations that Cafe Rose was going to have a mountain to climb ahead of them. And they did it just like that. Shocking, I would say, the Rivals world, especially esports world, on opening day.
This is what I would not have any different, though, Cozy. Welcome, everybody, to the Americas region within the Marvel Rivals Ignite Day #1 preseason, because that is how you open up a stream, Zoe.
It sure is. Yeah, all predictions in shambles. Literally. Like, just match 1, everything's up in flames. I am so here for this, especially like just piggyback off what you just said, Cozy. You're adding 2 new pieces. You expect them to come out on the other side worse, or at least have an adjustment period where like they're trying to figure it out. It really just felt like FlyQuest is the team who was just trying to mesh their pieces together. It felt disconnected. Like the coordination was just not really there, whereas Cafe Rose, they were so confident. The way in which they have closed out this last map, that was dominant. No one would have seen that coming.
I've never been more pumped for what is going to be a winner's interview coming up, because this is what Rivals is all about. This is why the MRC exists. You go from the couch to the dream. You say, hey, I think I can play this game pretty well. You put the team together, and now building up to millions of dollars in prize pools, up to what we have even today in the preseason. You put it to the test, and yes, it's just one match. They've got round robin, but this is the confidence. This is quite literally the spark, right, that they need to ignite what this team can continue to do. Vicky, I mean, I had FlyQuest at 5 for a reason. You know, this is what I was afraid I might see, but apparently I had them somehow too high, at least in this opening play.
I mean, you and I are on the same wavelength, I think, because I also have him in #5. So you know what? Now you get to toss that in the bin. So he's got to start taking out her headphones as well. And I want to honestly,
oh no, that's true. Am I getting replacement headphones? Because you're supposed to eat these.
Yep. Yeah. I know. I
Sorry,
think I said I
Cozy.
was going to eat, like, Ship's mic, your headphones. I got a lot of eating to do because I am, and listen, happily, because I'm just blown away. And what's crazy about it, too, is Zanji, you know, we said them and Pro Builder, you know, obviously coming from kind of out of nowhere. They also were in the MRC for Extinction, right? So they did have some the competition they played against, and they obviously identified those players as someone they wanted to add to their team. They're the perfect fit. I think what shocks me about it more is that they had Spider-Man players with Elsa, and we saw nothing like it. Not only that, Pro Builder picked up the Adam Warlock that Sticky used to play for that team. FlyQuest, they got to go back quickly to the drawing board and find out what happened.
Cafe Rose really just had a very clear idea of what they want to play. They stuck to that triple strategist. And also, like, again, the picky ban phase, like, they identified the threat on the other side. Melio's Daredevil was taken out of the mix. Like, they just felt so prepared. Like, I'm actually really baffled.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think a lot of what the staple was for that team is that you had the opening pick typically happen pretty fast there from the Venom. I think we shouted him out even in the mid-match, Vicky, that No Binds kind of shocked me there. Jolly was the weak point that I kind of pointed out in FlyQuest, and No Binds did a ton of what I was expecting on the opposition side. Again, it just felt like everybody was doing something, but not all together as one.
Yeah, because honestly, you look at the other side of the coin, Sanji was just him. He was just him. He was the one that was able to dictate and made sure that the Daredevil wasn't a problem. When they saw that there was going to be a Protect on the other side of the Daredevil, okay, you roll out with Namor. But my question is, FlyQuest banning Jeff very last was a choice, because we see it from their side. Yeah, they like to do the Jeff. But from the other side, we saw Cafe Rose, they were really leaning into that Mantis, Invisiwoman, Adam Warlock, and like you mentioned too, Pro Builder really stepping up.
Yeah, honestly, I think it could just be summed up to teamwork. I mean, I think, and I know, you can say it sounds corny, whatever you want to say, but that's truly the big difference. I think FlyQuest, even in that domination, they were like, we played well. I don't think we need to affix too much of what we did in the pick ban phase. Let's just do what we do great over here. And these players are going to be around for a while. We're going to see a lot of FlyQuest, but at least in this opening matchup, they were the last roster to be announced, right? I mean, like a lot of these things, that's why they were the newest kind of team to come into the limelight here. So Cafe Rose, got to give props out, especially to whoever is putting this team together more and more to find the additions from Extinction like they did. They're cooking.
And I mean, in a round-robin scenario where the bottom two teams are not going to make the cut into the playoffs, a victory against a team that is finding themselves somewhere in the middle, like, that's the wins you need to get. You're not expected to win against the top dogs, but if you can, like, edge out those little victories over the span of these 2 weeks of play, you will find yourself in the playoffs.
Yeah, without question. I mean, listen, with what they have coming ahead of them, I think that they stuck to a very solid game plan. They didn't try to do anything too fancy. Obviously, now the homework is out a little bit. I do think Pro Builder is going to be a big focus point for them. Maybe ban that. The Venom is banned. I mean, the Venom is a big focus too, because I kind of said that's the anchor of that dive, right? You open up the Jeff symbiotic shenanigans, but also just what he can offer in this new meta. That's going to be your ticket to success against Cafe Rose. We'll see if other teams pick up on it. But I can tell you what, coaches may have taken a light day when they were like, we're up against them. Not anymore. They're going to be doing their homework, ladies.
Oh man, I can't believe what we're already saying, guys. Like, the fact that you already open up like this, I want to hear more thoughts from the players of Cafe Rose too, because imagine being a player from Cafe Rose and looking at the predictions, right? Like, I would be that type of player to be like, all right, like, remember, I note that, bookmark that. I'll use this in the future to see where we stand in the seedings. But now you look at the way you open up the show already, and that's also, it's difficult if you're looking at FlyQuest with the foundation crumbling with, again, we were talking about ping earlier, we're talking about a new build of this entire roster, but now you have to give credit where it's due. Cafe Rose, Cozy, you talked about what we witnessed in the MRC. They saw what happened in the finals of the MRC. They said, how long was that? That was 24 minutes for 4 games? Write that down right now. We're going to take some notes. And they wanted to be able to get that sweep. The fact that we saw it in a 2-0 fashion too, by the way, was a cherry on top.
It really was. I mean, honestly though, if all predictions are stacked against me, I personally, I'm fueled by that kind of scenario, right? Like, I love coming in as the underdog. I love when people are betting against me. I think a lot of people are rather players, not like they're not people, but a lot of players, they're thriving in that kind of position.
Any given day, any team can win. That's what makes it so great, and especially in the America region. I mean, even if you go back to the last couple of stages, you had not Busy at Work. We had Techie XD. Remember that? They kind of did their run that no one thought was going to come from them. There's always seeming to be one underdog or sleeper team that says, hey, we've got the team that can put it together. And it's just not only that. We talked about this as the group of death for a reason, right? And they're kind of, they've got their one check mark on. Man, if Cafe Rose was in Group B, I'd give them even a bigger chance to continue to thrive through this whole thing, right? So we'll continue to see what they put together as a team, as a unit. Again, bringing it to FlyQuest as well. This is a team that has so much for them and with them. This doesn't define them. I mean, heck, we saw what they did in a huge lower bracket run after they lost. They're not new to this. Somehow in the Ignite scene, Vicky, as we saw, they were the favorites going into that when they lost it back in stage 1. So we continue to see kind of this org and this team adjust.
Yeah, I'm wondering actually here, Zoe, we're talking about like Jolly specifically being kind of like that player that may need to like make those adjustments. What do you think again in general, like when you talk about like just not being able to get these follow-ups if you want to go in with Melio and not having that success? They have another opportunity obviously going into these next 2 days, but you only have so much time.
Yeah, I mean, for them, like tomorrow already they have to face up against Sentinels. There's another roster that we have a lot of questions for, right? So I don't think it's going to get any easier for them. So those adjustments have to be made really, really quickly. And I do really feel like the game plan was just disconnected. I don't know if that was the comms. Like, I don't know really where it fell apart. They will be the only ones really knowing that. But yeah, like I don't know. This could be a really rough start for FlyQuest this first week of play. And they are coming in with a lot to prove. They had a great finish to their run in 2025. So like they ended on that high note. They had that 3rd place finisher in stage 2 in the grand finals. So the org has a lot to prove. This is going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of pressure in that next upcoming match. But here we do in fact have our player ready now for our post-match interview.
Excited here. Finally, we get to talk to one of the players from Cafe Rose, and it's
what's
No
up,
Binds.
Hey, No Binds. Congratulations, my man, to just open this whole thing up in the middle of the match. I shouted you out. I'm like, this man is getting work done as Venom. Tell me, how do you kind of, honestly, you shocked everybody's expectations taking down the org of FlyQuest, not just winning, but 2-0 and looking dominant. Explain to me, behind the scenes, you're coming to this team new. What is the vibe of Cafe Rose and this new upcoming team?
I mean, vibes are great. We did, unfortunately, have to lose 2 of our DPS players due to age restrictions. But, you know, we picked up 2 great DPS from the Team Extinction, Proboter, Zanji. You know, we instantly clicked with them. Vibes were great. You know, we're popping off in scrim, so we had to lock them in instantly, you know. Coming into this match, you know, we're hyped. We're ready. We love being the underdogs. Like, it's such a great feeling when everyone's doubting you. You know, you're looking on Twitter, you're seeing, like, all the tier lists, like, oh, Cafe Rose, that's it, Cafe Rose is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We're gonna go crazy. Yeah, no.
I love that.
Man.
Dude, okay, I'm sorry, cuz I just gotta say, first off, I want to know where you're at, man. Like, what basement are you in right now? Are you okay? You safe? Blink if you need help. But I'm also gonna assume, like, yeah, right. Like, you guys got the strats.
Listen, I'm kind of homeless, but like, you know, we're gonna make it out the mud. It's gonna be okay, you know. Gonna make it through the Ignite scene. But you know, I mean, strats going into it, you know, just run it down main, just beat the other team. Only strats we got for real.
Just beat the other team. Do you have a good idea of what to expect from the respective teams? You do have Swamp Gaming, I believe, coming up next. Have you been able to scrim against all of the teams yet? Like, what's your read? Where do you see you currently standing?
We've been scrimming a lot of the Ignite teams, you know. We've been doing our thing, you know. Some teams winning, some teams losing. I think we have a really good chance against older teams, really. Like, I know we're still a big underdog team, but I really think, you know, if we just put our heads down, hustle and grind, you know, get our reps in, we can make stuff happen.
I mean, you certainly are on the right trajectory. What a great statement opening match. Thank you so much for joining us for a quick chat, and best of luck in tomorrow's match.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Pop off, King. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is No Binds, everyone, from Cafe Rose. Make sure to head on socials and share the love with the players. What a fantastic first look at that squad, which, I mean, he said it, right? Like, he loves being the underdog. It's a great position to be in when there is no expectations, no pressure. You can just prove the haters wrong.
Listen, this is what it's all about for me, personally. I think it's just awesome to see these guys that are young, they're hungry. I can tell you every interview that I had with underdog teams were always way more exciting because they're thirsty, they're hungry, they're ready. And it's just a great way to start things off in what is an unpredictable season. I'm telling y'all, not only with this meta, but with roster mania outside of a couple of teams. One thing that I looked for when I was looking at my predictions, and I kind of kept humming, is you can be the hot, heavy, flashy team, but it's more about consistency and being there, done that before. We only have a couple teams returning with squads mainly from what they've had before. And we saw it right then, man. It matters.
Indeed. Now, that was just one of overall 5 matches. We're in for a treat today. TSM and Space Station Gaming are coming up next on the other side of this.